So much continues to happen in the crypto industry. We have some more meme coin rugs. We have the FTX payments coming out and giving users back $800 million. We also have Bitcoin continuing to chop around as more states in the US start to progress in adopting Bitcoin as a strategic reserve. And we have Michael Saylor continuing to try to raise money so he can go ahead and buy some more Bitcoin. In today's video, we'll be discussing all of these topics, and we'll also be taking a look at some of the most important charts that you need to be aware of in order to make the best possible trading decisions. Before we jump into the video, don't forget that we have an insane bonus with Weeks. If you sign up with the first link in my description down below, you get $100 for free just for connecting your phone number to your account so you can go ahead and start trading crypto. Also, if you deposit $200, you get an additional $100 allocated towards your futures account. Don't miss out because this opportunity won't be around forever. Let's jump right into the video. So let's kick us off with some of the good news. FTX users received $800 million worth of crypto today across 162,000 accounts. This affected most of the users that had under $50,000 in holdings, and in the upcoming weeks, the users that were holding more than $50,000 will likely start to receive their funds as well. Very positive news, and it's nice to see that a lot of these affected users are getting some form of compensation. And sorry to bring up meme coins once again, but we have Dave Portnoy coming out and extracting more value from his followers. So yesterday he launched the Greed token. He sold everything, crashed at about 99%, and then he launched a new token called Greed 2, leaving investors with major losses. As we can see, he's actually gloating on his Twitter account, talking about the fact that he could have sold for $400,000 within 10 minutes. And then he's like, who do you trust? If you all hold tight, it will rise. I'm not selling it anytime soon. So why would you? Well, let's take a look at the chart. First of all, the OG token that he was promoting went all the way up to around a $225 million market cap. Jail stool, as you know it, it rugged. Then if we go to the token that he launched yesterday, Greed went all the way up to just below a $40 million market cap before he sold most of his holdings in one clip, netting him over $250,000 in profit. Then he had the audacity to go ahead and launch Greed 2, which only made it to around a $6 million market cap before he went ahead and rugged it again, now sitting at just below a $700,000 market cap. Naturally, you're starting to see that these cycles are getting smaller and smaller. You know that on this channel, we were previously speculating on memes, and we've made some nice gains, cashed out some solid profits, but this is getting absolutely ridiculous. I, for one, have not been participating in any of these launches because it's very clear that Dave Portnoy continues to rug his followers. So please don't fall for it. We can see that the total market caps are getting smaller and smaller, and so it's likely that he won't have another launch if I had to guess, but you can see that he just keeps on extracting value from his followers. Don't fall for it. Stick to the core cryptocurrencies. And speaking of the core cryptocurrencies, as we can see once again, Michael Saylor is to raise $2 billion additional dollars to buy some more Bitcoin. It's very clear that this guy will keep on accumulating Bitcoin until the end of time. But we also saw a little bit of a shift in the market recently, and that is the fact that Fidelity had bought $4.6 million worth of Ethereum, and then they actually sold $16.4 million worth of Bitcoin yesterday. It seems like they're onto something. And if we take a look at the spot ETFs, we can see that yesterday we actually saw $60 million in outflows for the Bitcoin spot ETFs. Meanwhile, the Ethereum spot ETFs saw around $5 million worth of inflows. It's not that much, but that could coincide with the fact that Ethereum is finally starting to slowly outperform Bitcoin. Now, on this channel, we've been talking about this key level, 0.03. If we can break above this level, the next target would be the bull market support band for ETH against Bitcoin. And this would be a crucial level because if we can hold this as support, it could mean that the tides are turning for ETH and for the rest of the altcoin market. Something interesting that I want to show you on this chart that we've been tracking for a very long time is actually looking at the Federal Reserve's balance sheet. Now, this is maybe a little bit too soon to start celebrating, but if I zoom in even more, you can see that this pink line below has started to tick a little bit upwards. It could result lower, but for the time being, this could very well be positive. And if we are to see this slowly start to stall out, perhaps signaling the end of quantitative tightening, it would be very positive for Ethereum against Bitcoin and for the rest of the altcoin market. Now, I don't necessarily think that we'll start grinding up because it seemed like Jerome Powell said no quantitative easing anytime soon, at least until we get inflation under control. And so I wouldn't be expecting that. But all we really need here is for quantitative tightening to just stall out and at least stay flat so the Fed doesn't continue reducing their holdings, and that could really push the rest rest of the market forward. And speaking of the rest of the market, we've been talking about Solana for quite a while now, and I discussed a recent trade setup breaking down from the $190 level and entering a short to try to close at around $155. Now, I took a little bit of profit on the way down, and we didn't quite make it to $155. We have experienced a little bit of a turnaround on the 4-hour time frame, right around $161. Now, the next level you should be eyeing here if you're trading Solana is the $177 level, because that is in fact where we broke down. And so the two potential scenarios that I'll be looking at here are if we are to break above it and consolidate and hold it as support, I think that Solana would potentially be able to move much higher on its USD valuation. But if 177 acts as resistance, we will see much lower levels for Solana, in my opinion. So to simplify it, I would ultimately enter a short here if this acts as resistance, but I would also consider a long if we start to hold this level as support once more. And remember, if you want to participate in any of the trades that I discuss on this channel, make sure to click the first link in my description down below. It'll bring you directly to Weeks, where you can see you can earn a $100 bonus just for connecting your phone number to your account. You also get an additional $100 for depositing just $200 to your futures account. So that's basically $200 to trade with for free. It's the first link in my description down below. Now, as it pertains to Solana, regardless of where it goes on its dollar pair, I have consistently spoken about the fact that Solana will likely underperform Ethereum for the foreseeable future. And we actually talked about this support level here. We are now breaking down from this level. And the next level that I discussed in one of my previous videos is all the way down here around 0.055. Now, if this doesn't hold as support and we break right through here, meaning that Ethereum is indeed outperforming Solana as we've been discussing, the next level for the Solana bulls to hopefully hold would be right here, perhaps marking a higher low. We can see that this has been a support level all the way back into November 2023. And so if we break down from here, I think the drop for Sol against Ethereum will be massive. And that's why most of my bets at the moment are on the Ethereum ecosystem starting to pick back up. To the newcomers on the channel, I wanted to share this chart, which is very interesting. Basically, the total crypto market cap, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, we can see that in early post-halving years, we tend to surpass the previous bull market top. Now, before I talked about how this would likely be in February, but now February is already halfway through, and it's not looking super bullish yet in regards to this chart, and I wanted to provide you an update. It is possible that it takes a little bit longer, but over the course of this year, I still think that we will break past the previous bull market top from 2021 for the rest of the cryptocurrencies, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. And so this could look like something around $2 trillion. We're currently sitting right below $900 billion. So keep an eye on this chart. And what about the king, Bitcoin? Well, in the short term, it's starting to look like we're trying to hold the 95.7K level as support. If we come back and retest this level and we're able to hold it as support, I would be favoring a long on Bitcoin, targeting the 100K level. So make sure to keep this in your locker if you're looking to trade Bitcoin. But if we fail once again to hold this level as support, I would be targeting the bottom of this range. Now, you might think it's a little bit tricky because I'm talking about longing and shorting Bitcoin, but the reality is we can only really act on what the market is giving us, and I'm looking to make profits either way. Long term, I'm very much a Bitcoin bull, and I continue to accumulate Bitcoin over time. And speaking of long term, taking a look at a higher time frame on the Bitcoin chart, we noticed something interesting, and that is the fact that every single time we had 4 red weekly candles for Bitcoin, we tended to move on higher. As we can see here in August 2023, and then once again in April 2024, and then once again in June 2024. Those 4 red weeks for Bitcoin typically coincide with much higher price movements in the near future. Every single time we saw some nice movement to the upside. Now, this is entirely speculative, but I just thought it would be interesting to show you. If we really zoom out here and I go on the monthly chart, what we can see is that Bitcoin is still well above its bull market support band, holding right around the 90K region. So this is why I've also been thinking perhaps we can come back down and test it as support, as we normally do in a bull market. It's perfectly common for Bitcoin to do this. Now, keep in mind, if Bitcoin just hovers around this range, naturally the bull market support band will continue to climb higher, and perhaps Bitcoin and its bull market support band can touch each other as Bitcoin stays stagnant. But we'll just have to see how this plays out. And let's wrap up today's video with some news coming out from Vivek. He came out and essentially essentially said that Bitcoin is likely to become a more common corporate treasury holding. The era of easy money is over. And so this really caught my attention, as there's still the narrative of a strategic Bitcoin reserve. We're seeing countries starting to adopt a little bit more of a Bitcoin standard, and so have companies been doing. They've been following the MicroStrategy route, and I don't think this will stop anytime soon. We are seeing global adoption of Bitcoin, and yes, there will always be some fluctuations in the price action of Bitcoin. We try to trade this volatility. We trade this volatility on weeks, make some profits for the long term, and keep on accumulating Bitcoin. And that sums up today's video. A lot of bullish news coming out, a lot of volatility in the market, lots of opportunities to be trading this price action, making some profits, and continuing to add to the long-term Bitcoin holding. That's just what I'm doing. Of course, not financial advice, but as I discussed on this channel several times before, any profit that I make, whether it's in trading or speculating on any kind of cryptocurrencies, go right back into Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is the gold of the 21st century, and I don't see this slowing down anytime soon. As always, if you enjoyed the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. I'll see you in tomorrow's video.